BCOS television. It's AM120 this morning, and we'd like to welcome every one of you and saying thank you for always staying tuned and joining us every weekday. All right, this morning on the program AM120, we're going to be taking some stories that made the headline. And we're going to be starting with the Nigerian Tribune. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, stories that made the headline. The major story on the front page is from page 11, and it says cracks widens in PDP over plot to remove Damagum. With two riders saying Adamawa governors declare support for acting national chairman. I stand by PDP's constitution, governors forum. That's coming from Adeleke. The story is on page 11. All right, on page 12, FG, ex-CJN on government declares today work free. Still other stories on the front page there. On page 3, controversy as NAS moves to rush new body to conduct. On page 6, 75th anniversary, of course, one of the commercial banks, of course, stories there. All right, moving to other stories there. NECO releases results, 60.55% make correct to blacklist 21 supervisors. All right, the stories are on the front page. All right, let's go to the inside story page. You have the story there on page 3. We recovered 4 billion naira within 24 hours. That's coming from ICPC chairman. All right, Kukuk. All right, let's go to other stories. The further made headlines. We'll go to page 4, where you have the story IGP Egbetokun orders redeployment of CPS Rivers Delta FCT orders. On page 6, domination. That's coming from operators. And of course, you also have the story IBDC 6 Olubado's collaboration in ensuring better service delivery. The story is there on page 6. All right, let's come to page 8, where you have the story flood. 1.6 million people affected, 634,000 displaced. That's coming from NEMA. And of course, other stories there on the editorial page. The Edo governorship election, of course, stories there you can read. Still on the opinion page, the obstacles Nigerian journalists face. And below the story, you have other stories there. Oba Orumogege, third in Ogbomoso, a social cultural millennial. All right, let's go to other stories there. NSCDC deploys 3,000 personnel for Kwara Council polls. All right, on page 13, on page 12 and 13, you have the story minimum wage. FG deceived labor unions to accept 70,000 naira Southwest pensioners cry out. All right, Ryan Naira and the redesign. Emefiele's lawyers absent, stalled trial. All right, let's go there. More stories still on that page. You have FG, former CJN Onoge, gets appeal court approval to settle sack case out of court. All right, on the Eye of Islam on page 13, you have the story Muswan commends Egbeda local government Muslim communities education initiative. And of course, below there, you also have humanity. First, Nigeria provides relief to flood victims in Maiduguri. All right, Ogun State Muslim Council rally support for Borno flood victims. The story is there. Of course, on page 14, Maulud Nabil II, you have the stories there and a reflection on Prophet Muhammad sermon at Hajj. All right, let's go to the Friday Treat Extra. Spotify releases documentary for Wizkid Ojuelegba 10th anniversary. The story is there on page 15. All right, still on the Friday Treat. Africa to the world as Africa Stories Voices continue to command global reception. Page 17. Mixed emotion, Uchechi Meloye breaking boundaries with new EP. All right, this is on the music review page. All right, all the stories that made, of course, the papers today. Sport tourism, Amokachi Adekpoju, loud Adron Games Fiesta. All right, on the features page, Grand Chief Imam as Ogbomoso Muslim community searches for lasting peace. All right, of course, on page 21, exclusive breastfeeding. Why UNICEF wants husbands to get involved. You want to know? Grab a copy of this morning's Nigerian Tribune. All right, other stories there. Sokoto government accuses PDP of malicious campaign. Ogun government compensate victim of Itachi gas tanker explosion. Osun NURTW pledges to be law-abiding. Charges are delicate to lift ban on union's proscription. All right, Firemis 8 get court order preventing EFCC of further probe on Ekiti Airport. For local government chairman, Bauchi government approves 5 million naira to settle female journalists' medical bills. And Niger government launches World Bank assisted project to combat the desertification. All right, on page 25, Nakon meets Max Air from October 1st, planned protest. And NDDC board, Senate screened me for 4-year tenure. Obuku. All right, let's go to other stories there that made the headline. All right, we also have the story there. NAFDAC destroys substandard products worth 43 billion naira in Oyo. Ogun Tax Force busts land grabbers open in Ikene. Gunshot as EFCC operators attempt to arrest Yahaya Bello. Insurgency, we've made gains, but battle far from over. That's coming from CDS. And of course, we'll quickly go to take some of the sports stories this morning that made the headline. FIFA ranking, Eagles drop to 6th in Africa. Olatunji makes history with stellar UCL debut. And of course, you have the story there, 8th NYG, 4 gold winner. Gina craves for more government investments. And of course, on the back page there, you have the story, Yamal, one of the world's best, Ronaldo. That's coming from Ronaldo. Of course, you also have there on the back page, revealed Messi wants bribe ref to avoid final ban. The story is also on the back page. All right, of course, we come straight to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And the major story there says that though make Governor poll credible, parties, CSOs can, Jonathan, other stars, INEC, please. All right, some of the stories there also says hardship, Nigerians petitioning for their lawmakers' recall. That's coming from INEC. An ex-British envoy cautions against October protests and alleges foreign influence. And of course, you have other stories there. FJ records $2.35 billion foreign reserves inflow in 7 months. And of course, the story is on page 6. FG wants Nigerians to relocate as Cameroon releases water from Lagdo Dam. And of course, the sports story there says FIFA ranking, Super Eagles maintain 39th spot, 6th in Africa. All right, those are some of the stories I'll be taking this morning. And of course, we'll go on this break. When we come back, we'll go to our interview segment on the program this morning. Do stay with us. It's still AM120. And I'm Jadisola Ajibola. Thank you for staying tuned.
You wake up in the morning, you want to start your day, start with Kellogg's, And be your great, stay active and alert.
As Kellogg's is fortified with the essential vitamins and minerals you need to start your day right. With Kellogg's, start your day right. Reach your great.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
All right, welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Of course, we are in the interview segment, and this morning we'll be looking at, of course, focus on Edo governorship election. And of course, you'd agree with me that the governorship election will be holding, by God's grace, tomorrow in Edo State, across Edo State. And so far, we have 17 governorship candidates from various political parties that will be contesting in the election, that their faces or their parties will be shown on the ballot paper. But of course, there are three major political parties that everyone had been focusing on, from the Labour Party, from the PDP, and the All Progressive Congress. Those are the three major candidates that have been at the forefront of this particular election coming up tomorrow, Saturday, 21st of September, year 2024. To look at the conversation this morning, we have a guest in the studio already. We want to look at how prepared is INEC, security agencies, and all other relevant agencies who are expected to be on ground during this election. To look at the conversation, our first guest in the studio this morning is Dr. Stephen Lafenwa. He is a political scientist, and he will be joining us to look at issues surrounding the election coming up tomorrow in Edo State. You're welcome, Dr. Lafenwa.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you again. All right, Dr. Lafenwa, let's begin the conversation. Yeah. Edo election. Can we look at how Edo election had always been in the past? And let's look at the preparedness of INEC amidst this particular election.
You know, Edo election, from the past experience, is usually about two political parties, the APC and the PDP. Let's say in the last 16 years, it has been revolving between PDP and APC. And remember,
Others.
you know, the present governor, who is now, PDP, and who is, preparing grant for his friend or associate to take over from him. I'm talking about the Obaseki. All was in APC before. The first time it was in APC. Because he was denied the ticket, he moved to PDP, and with the support of the likes of Wiki and the rest, he won the election. And, on the platform of PDP. Now, the former governor of Edo State, in person of Adam Oshiomhole, who was a former PDP, former APC was chairman, is also supporting a candidate. This APC was a member, and that is Monday Ekwebolo. That's to show you that the political space has not been, expanded. It's shrinking. And what is giving me serious concern is that the contestants, the two contestants in APC are already holding what political offices. One is a sitting senator, another one is a House of Rep member. Then, what are we talking about? They've not even finished their 4 years. That people have voted them for to represent them. And they are now saying they want to become governor, they want to become deputy governor. So where are we in Nigeria as far as, democracy is concerned? It's all about the same set of people. Obaseki is saying that, Ighodalo must be the next governor. Somebody from him. Somebody that's been working with him, worked with Oshiomhole, worked with Obaseki, and is now, coming on board. And, the Labour Party that is there, like we witnessed during the presidential election and National Assembly election 2023, you discover that LP, at least played a major role. And they garnered some votes, at the national federal level. And up today, when you look at the outcome of the 2023 election, LP is having having a senator, sitting senator, and they have members at the House of Assembly, and also have, members in the House of Reps. So that is why maybe that's what is giving Olumide Akpata that kind of encouragement that, oh, you can also get from Edo South. The two other candidates are from the Edo Central. And that's to tell you that, they are not practicing them. I've not heard. Maybe after the election they are going to hold any debate. There was no democratic, there was no political debate between the candidates that will help, the people of Edo to make informed choices. What do we have now? The level of preparation, the president Edo governor and his candidate didn't sign the peace accord. So that means the trust, the credibility, the trust they have in the electoral agency is no longer there.
Okay, let me quickly take you up from there. Yeah. You just talked about the peace pact. So looking at the election coming up tomorrow, are you confident that the election will be free, fair, and credible, or that the election, the state will be peaceful throughout?
Going by what we witnessed in the past, the election, will be held. But the credibility, the fairness and freeness of that election has to do with the critical stakeholders. The first critical stakeholder is the INEC, that's Independent National Electoral Commission, who's supposed to be the neutral umpire. And two, we are talking about security agencies who are going to maintain, order before, during, and after the elections. How prepared they are. Three, we are talking about the adjunct, electoral staff, the adjunct INEC staff.
Ad hoc staff.
Ad hoc staff that they will use, to conduct the election. Are they also credible people? Are they going to support, own credibility and also their own level of preparedness? Because I've been with INEC, working for them for so many years. I discovered that some of them will not even go for training. Maybe through the back doors, they put their names on the list to come and do the needful for them. But the problem that we always face on the ground is that the level, the synergy, we usually lack that kind of synergy between the ad hoc staff, the security agency, and the INEC core staff. Some of them will delay bringing the materials. And, those ad hoc staff will just be there waiting for them. Some of them, they will not even be giving adequate materials to conduct the election. And apart from that, we also talk about the observers. And we talk about party agents. Party agents must be there and they must be ready to maintain decorum and to ensure that the right things, that are supposed to be done at the polling unit are also are done. And you also need the coalition officers. Because at the end of the day, it is the result that matters.
Okay.
And so those who conduct, those who collate the result. But what we have on ground now show that INEC, INEC is adequately prepared because they
so
said
you feel that INEC is prepared, having deployed 5,000, ad
hoc beavers.
Yes, beavers, and of course, I've also deployed as much as 18,000.
They said sensitive material and non-sensitive material have been also been deployed. The only thing has to do with even the logistics in terms of transportation. There are some riverine areas in Edo, and there are some difficult terrain. How prepare?
What do you mean by difficult terrain?
Difficult terrain is that of when you are talking about long journey, bad roads. You understand? Places that are difficult to access. You understand? How prepared are they? Are they going to fly some of the ad hoc staff with helicopter? Are they going to find replacement anytime there are 40-watt beefers or 40-watt machines? Are they going to get to that place on time? These are some of the things we should talk about. But the major thing has to do with the integrity of that election. And at any point, the integrity may be compromised. And that's why we are calling on every stakeholder in Edo State that they should, prepare very well for the expected and the unexpected. Because, when you plan like this, you are expecting the results, but you also expect unexpected results. How adequately they are prepared for unexpected results.
And the transmission of results.
The transmission of results.
Okay, let's go on this commercial break. When we come back, I will talk more about the number of polling units, collation center, and of course the state headquarters of INEC. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
What?
Sonia tomato mix, stand up, ouch. Sonia tomato mix, stand up, ouch. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop and is it to stop? Dishes come alive with so much taste. Stand up, ouch. Sonia tomato mix, of course. Sonia tomato mix, yes sir. Sonia tomato mix, stand up, ouch.
I'm in love. Oh, with you, of course, my darling.
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
It's the in. Buy any of the new promotional packs. Take one empty and exchange the sachets for a scratch card. Scratch the card to reveal a unique code. Text the code to 1393. Promo runs from September to October 2024. Visit www.ongamillionspromo.com.
All right, welcome back. We still have Dr. Lafenwa in the studio with us. He's a political scientist. And of course, we're still on the focus on Edo governorship election coming up on the 21st of September, which is tomorrow, Saturday. And we're hoping that that election will be free, peaceful, and fair. All right, of course, before we went to that commercial break, we're talking about, how prepared INEC, is for tomorrow's election. And, of course, you're talking about some difficult areas. Yeah. And knowing that in Edo State we have over 4,519 polling units, we have 211 collation centers and 192 wards in that state. Now, so how do you think that, we'll be able to manage all the resources, logistics, to give the best of this election?
What always gives me as a concern is how much we spend in recruiting our leaders. You mentioned now 4,519 polling booths. They will have ad hoc staffs there, not less than 3 or 4. And you're going to pay them. Then you have collation centers. You have different collation officers. They're going to be paid. And also we have, in fact, they said they deploy, I don't know, the thousands of policemen.
35,000.
35,000 just
policemen
for an election.
Yes, and of course 8,000 other security agents from other security agencies.
We are talking about almost 45 security personnel. To do what?
Don't you think they're overloading this election? Is it not
in fact, that may even scare the people from coming out.
Voters a party?
A party, and also, that will intimidate. Because the way security personnel work, usually, I would say that most of the time people complain that they are not fair to all the parties.
No, but there are rules guiding elections in Nigeria.
There are rules.
You cannot go to the polling unit with, ammunition.
We know, but some of them have been going with the security personnel before the election. They have been following them, and they will still continue to follow them.
Oh.
For example, now the governor, is still enjoying, is enjoying what immunity.
He's the governor.
He's the governor, I know, and he's supporting, and he has declared, clearly that he's supporting the candidate.
He has a right to support.
But when you are talking about the moral support, the governor is not governor of his own party alone. The governor is the governor of everybody.
He has not said he's not governor of everybody.
We are not. Yes, he has not said it, but morally speaking, that's what led to Saibu Philip, his former deputy. Is he deputy because God has reinstated him? That's what happened
in
them.
politics. Thank God you're a political scientist. In politics, there's always interest all the time.
Yes,
and everyone has a right.
But their level of interest.
Is he not supposed to come out and support his political party?
Yes, you have your right. You have your interest, personal interest, private interest. But when it comes to public offices, public interest should override selfish or personal interest.
Okay. Let's quickly evaluate the performance of the political parties vis-a-vis the candidates that are contesting in the election tomorrow. You agree with me that, of course, campaign has ended last night.
Yes.
Even PDP issued a statement saying that they have closed campaign officially yesterday night.
That is official, campaigns.
Yeah.
We have, or former, we have informal. They are now going to go to one, house to house, in quote, evangelism.
So what did the Electoral Act say? The Electoral Act said they should end campaigning.
It's only when you are caught campaigning.
Who's going to catch them?
The security officials.
In Nigeria.
But in Nigeria here, some of them do it in the dead of the night. Up till the time you are going out, some people will still be campaigning to you.
Maybe that's not campaign. Maybe that's negotiation.
Negotiation. Difficult negotiation.
Last-minute strategy.
And that is also against the law, because that kind of negotiation always end up in vote buying and vote selling.
So do you think that at some point we're going to get to a point in this country
we should have
where
gone to
we
that
can
point.
stick with the laws?
That's one of my concerns. Because this is, this year, May 29, that is 25 years of uninterrupted democratic rule.
Yeah.
Then what do we expect of that kind of democracy? We should have consolidated our democracy to the extent that we don't need over 45 or close to 50,000 security personnel. We don't need, look at that. And, it happens that this election is one of the off-cycle world elections.
Has it not crossed your mind that in recent times, we can hardly talk about ballot snatching? Maybe the presence of security has helped us to keep our ballot.
I will tell you why you are not having what ballot snatching.
Please tell us.
First is that we should give kudos to the past government and the present one concerning the electoral reform, the new electoral act that legitimized the use of beavers,
electronic
and
transmission of results,
saying that if there is any violent action or whatever in any polling unit, the result will be cancelled.
So now let me ask
you. Another one, which you may not agree with me, has to do with the difficult negotiation you talked about the other time. Vote buying and vote selling.
Okay,
people, you don't need to fight.
No. I mean,
collect your money. The fight may erupt after if you collect money and you don't want vote.
How would you know I collected money and I didn't vote?
I have been on the field. By the time you get to the polling unit, you will have done the negotiation outside and you have received the part payment. The agent is there monitoring you. And when you get there, you show your ballot paper where you thumbprint. And you go and collect your work.
I think we still need to improve on our electoral reforms.
There are lots of things.
Such that when you show it and the camera captures you, that vote is null and void.
People should not take their cameras there. You understand? Even with the aid of security personnel. You see some of those people. The level.
So you're saying the security agencies are also sabotaging electoral processes?
I've been an observer, election observer, international election observer for that matter, whatever. In Plato. The play where people supposed to do their secret balloting. The policeman was there.
Policing the ballot papers?
Telling police people ballot paper, telling them where to vote, where they to cast their ballot.
Like seriously?
I saw it.
Wow. All right, let's go to...
Some of them, the police will be interfering. Oh, this is how you should do it, this is how you should do that. Which is not even the election observers at times, they interfere.
You know my concern when you were talking about, we're talking about ballot snatching. I was wondering, if we said people are not educated, so how did they suddenly turn back from ballot snatching? Because to my mind, it was hoodlums who used to snatch.
If you snatch ballot box, the vote will be rendered
It means someone necessitized them.
You understand? They know, the political party knows who are the people engaging talks to snatch their ballot boxes. Are they not the vested interest, the candidate and the political parties? So now they know that if you snatch, they won't count. Even if you snatch and go and stuff whatever, unless you connive with the security agent, you connive with the coalition officers, and you connive with the returning officers. Because once the adjunct, presiding officer, at the polling booth, report the case of ballot was snatching. They cancelled the votes in that polling unit.
And then in recent times too, I think we have moved from the stage of losing our ad hoc staff, INEC officials, unlike those days. Is it the transmission, electronic transmission that has made this happen?
Let me tell you, the risk is still high.
Very high, like we used to have
for those, ad hoc staff. I think I've been supervisory presiding officer. I've been presiding officer. I've been collation officers for so many years. I've been, regional officers for INEC. The risk is very high because, number one, you will be intimidated or threatened by those, vested interests. Some of them want to compromise. Some of them want to do the right thing. Even if you are prepared to do the wrong thing, some people are there to check you, to checkmate you from doing the wrong thing. But the most important thing has to do with the caliber or the personality of those who are going to be engaged. Some of them are looking for money. And because of insecurity in Nigeria, some NYC coppers, serving coppers, may not be interested. Some of them have been hijacked before. Some of them, have been pressurized to change the results. And at the end of the day, it backfire.
So it means that our people need to respect, the people working during election.
We have to. And they should also provide. You see some of them sleeping on the road. Waiting to collect this thing. So they are flawed. Some of them are not taken care of. They will be telling you they are going to give your money after you have rendered the service. You're supposed to give them something. Some of them will eat. Now, if you don't eat, political parties will come with their own food.
And you want to eat?
Supervising the presiding officers. The one political party label each presiding officer. And they were distributing. I said, I warn them, if you take it and eat it, you are on your own.
Wow.
You're on your own. They will even prefer to carry you in their cars and their buses, whatever. So if you dare yield to their whatever temptation, you are gone. Because there are some of them watching you that will go and report.
Wow.
So they have to be very careful. Those who have been assigned to do one or two things concerning the election, please be careful.
And be professional.
Protect your integrity. How much are they going to do? Apart from tarnishing your name, you will be tried, you will be prosecuted in the court. And anything can happen. So please be careful. Those of you that are going to Edo or you are already there, tomorrow, security personnel, party agents, ad hoc staffs, collation officers, and so on and so forth. Please be careful. Even INEC officials also be careful because the box stops at the decks of the resident commissioner and also the national chairman of INEC.
All right, so let's quickly look at it. What kind of governor do you think Edo people needs at this point with the current economic situation and with, let me say, the performance or efforts
let me tell you,
made by the outgoing
this is my
governor?
own opinion. They are not good. I'm not a prophet of doom. They may not get a governor that is elected on the basis of issues.
Why?
But on the basis of sentiment.
So are you saying the three major candidates
I'm telling you
are governors that or governors to be?
Now
that were picked on sentiment.
I mentioned the other time. Have they conducted any debate?
All the debates we have done in the past, what has it given us in various parts of the country?
That is one of the traditions that we're supposed to embrace and package as part of our democratic culture.
Maybe it's not working for the people of Edo State.
Not that it's working. What have they done? Have they done it before? Or if they have done it before, what kind of debate did they organize? What we are saying is whether it will even work or not, everybody, now as an analyst, I need to listen to them. I'm not going to Edo to go and vote.
Oh, you have seen them on the with the campaign team.
These are jamborees. You understand? Where some party was stalwarts, we'll be talking on behalf of the candidate, or the candidate, we just be, we just be giving us the rhetorics. What is new in their campaign word promises or the manifestos?
Along the campaign period, there were rumors that one of the political party candidates could not speak English. And when questions were asked, I mean,
so maybe that's one of why they are not encouraging.
No. Their major language in Edo State is Pidgin, not English language. And so once you can speak Pidgin and your local dialect, I mean, you're good to go.
Listen, officially in the Constitution, there is no provision for Pidgin English. We are talking about English language.
So let's come to us.
We know that you can, you are not, when you are talking about debate or campaigning, you are not only communicating to yourself or to the people who work in Edo. There are some people who are also interested. You are talking about investors. You are talking about those who want to come and develop help them in developing Edo State. So what if you speak those languages and they don't understand?
Maybe the godfathers want to help them to do all of this.
That's what we are saying. In fact, I listened to one jingle yesterday, not about the Edo election, but you gave us. Who gave them?
Maybe their political party.
That means it is not, all about the people. Democracy is all about the people. You have to talk about, the people, the governor we gave ourselves is not a liar.
No, maybe it's
different from the governor you gave us.
No, sometimes in writing.
In Edo now, they sang it and they emphasized that several times in that jingles that they gave them the governor.
But the governor is performing.
No. Whether it's performing or not, it depends on those who are benefiting now. Go and look at other people who contested and lost the election. They will tell you the bad side of Mr. Governor. I don't listen to those, those who sponsor the candidate and everything.
I'm afraid.
Look at those three candidates now. One is sponsored, and
who is not sponsored?
I think Olumide Apata.
That's an assumption. That's also an assumption
from the survey. Because now, let me say this: because one, Monday Okwebolo is a senator, sitting senator. You understand? That means somebody invited him and convinced him to come and contest as the governor. Idahosa is who be deputy governor is also from the House of Rep. And you talk about Afue Igodalo. The governor came out and said, I am in support. And somebody that would have contested with him during the primaries was eliminated from the calculation. Philip Saibu. And now you can see how democratic principles have been compromised at the level of even political parties. Can you tell me that the party primaries that threw up all those candidates have this thing? Now the party is fragmented to the extent that I heard was it yesterday that the Obi supporters have gone to PDP or APC. That is to tell you that even the party structure that he needs to win the election is not there. Abure faction, this one faction, inside whatever. And some of those, the labor union leaders who are supposed to support the cause of Labour Party, is supporting the PDP because he is serving under the president governor of Edo State, Obaseki. And Obaseki was saying emphatically yesterday on one of the interviews granted that he's sure because of his performance. Now, the Edo election tomorrow will be about, testing the popularity of Mr. Governor, showing whether he has performed or not, because he has no federal might. This man, Monday, is receiving support from different angles. Federal, might, the ruling party, and you are talking about as a senator.
Apart from that, there were reports yesterday that 9 political parties have merged to support that Okwebolo, that candidate of the APC.
Yeah.
I mean, is that not a game changer?
Let me tell you, let me tell you 4 major things that we should consider when you want to consider electoral victory or whether a candidate will win or lose. One, you are talking about the war chest, money. When it comes to state purse, Obaseki is still the governor. And people of Edo State knows that if they don't vote, there will be likely consequences. Because the man will still be there until November 12th. So that is why, when you talk, Olumide Akpata, he's on his own. He's running the campaigns, he's running the party, he's running everything to get, by himself. But the rest, in fact, yesterday I read in the newspaper that House of Reps member have contributed about 200 million to support Okpebolo. Because in one of them, Idahosa, who happens to be the deputy governor world candidate, is also on the ballot. So what we are saying is this: apart from watches, that's money. You are talking about party structure. The party structure in Edo State the ruling party structure is supposed to be PDP, but the house is divided. I told you earlier that Wike supported Obaseki. Now Wike is saying that no way again. He's not supporting his candidate. And now, the role that Wike is playing when, PDP is what? When we're talking about PDP as a party. The ruling party, Oshiomhole happens to be former governor, former, chairman of the party, and now a sitting senator from Edo North. So you can see, that if war chest, financial war with them, Akpata is not there, we are going to restrict the election, whatever victory to the two candidates. Then you are talking about grassroots mobilization. Imagine, the kind of support that this man is receiving now, Okpebolo. Saibu has, brought his own supporters. And some other people that say they have marched, they bring their supporters, no matter how many, whatever the number. They are bringing them to support. Now, we don't know the joker that Mr. Governor will use because
he doesn't even have the traditional stool.
Yeah, he has 15 House of Assembly members. I don't know. That's the majority in the House of Assembly. I don't know how powerful they are.
Those House of Assembly members who don't relate to the people in their communities, who would have moved out of their communities.
I've told you the number one factor is money. Money can change anything at any point in time. I've seen a party primary conducted here in Ibadan here when the two candidates file up when we were doing option A4. What do you call it? Option A4. That is not secret balloting. They line up to support the candidate. But when they started distributing money, they move to the other world candidates.
Okay, as we wrap up on this segment quickly, I'd like to ask you, what do you expect tomorrow in terms of voters turnout in this coming election? What's your expectation?
I'm not, because the annex said that they are expecting 2.2 million people to come out tomorrow. I'm not expecting that. I think if we're able to get about maybe 600,000 voters, that would be good enough. Because in the last election in 2020, not many people came out. And this time around may not be different. And now the economic movement, a liter of petrol now is about 1,000 naira. If your polling booth is far away, you think twice. What I'm trying to get, what am I going to gain if I waste my 2,000 naira to go and vote for somebody that will not take care of me after the election. So these are some of the things that may hinder people's voters turnout for tomorrow. But let all the stakeholders, that's my own concern, let them do the right thing. Maintain the integrity of the election. They should not favor any party. Now they are talking about Edo, Oshiomhole bringing the federal might to Edo. And also, this man that have not signed the peace pact may not be saying that that's the reason if eventually it comes the way he's thinking of.
Okay.
He may say that, that is why I didn't put my signature on the peace accord paper. So let's just wait and see we hope that there will be free and credible election tomorrow. And don't let us tell them that please let them put aside anything that may cause violence or attacks, because it will not favor our democracy. Let's move our democracy forward, and let's see what INEC will do. By God's grace, I know the result will be announced before Monday, and everybody will be good for it.
All right, of course, Dr. Stephen Lafenwa has been a guest in the studio, of course, since we started the interview segment. He's a political scientist, and we sincerely appreciate him on behalf of our producer and crew members for joining the program and for being on the program this morning. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, of course, we'll be joining us from Edo State is a BOT member of Yaga Africa Watching the Vote, Professor Nnamdi Aduba, a professor of law at the University of Jos, will be joining us shortly. Stay with us.
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Welcome back. It's still AM120 on the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. And of course, we are still on the conversation, focused on Edo governorship election, which is coming up tomorrow, 21st of September, year 2024. All right, joining us right now from Edo State is a BOT member of Yaga Africa, Yaga Watching the Votes. And of course, he is Professor Nnamdi Aduba. Is a professor of law at the University of Jos from the Faculty of Law. Prof, you're welcome to the program this morning. Professor Nnamdi, are you there? Prof, if you can hear us, welcome to the program. Okay, so let me give you a preamble to the conversation. Of course, there were reports released by Yaga Africa ahead of the Edo governorship election. According to Yaga Africa, on September 21st, year 2024, eligible voters in Edo will ahead of the polls to elect their governor in an conducted in a climate of economic hardship, security volatility, and distrust in state institutions and the electoral process. Of course, the pre-election Electoral Commission, INEC, the voter registration data for this election indicated that a significant increase in voter engagement compared to the previous election in 2020. A total of 2,629,025 voters have registered, indicating a 19% increase from the 2,210,535 registered in year 2022. Of these, 2.57% of registered voters. Professor, you're welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning, Ojashala. Morning.
All right, you're welcome to AM120. And of course, we're discussing this morning, focusing on the Edo governorship election happening tomorrow, 21st.
So, yeah, I'm already there. We're already there. We've had initial briefing for the press, and we outlined our prospects. We projected areas, hotspots. We predicted that there are going to be impartiality of the security agencies. Although it was raining partially throughout, I myself personally, I watched the distribution of materials from the central bank. But the sad thing is that this morning we are hearing that there is already violence in one of the areas we had. I think it's around Igboba area. It's within the Benin area, yes. There was reports that there was attempts to either cut away the materials or actually interfere with the materials there. INEC had not cleared up whether any material was taken or not, but there were disturbances around that Igboba area. We don't know what has happened, but as we predicted, these areas are prone to violence. And then we just wonder why the security officials don't take heed to these things. We point them out, we tell them these are the areas, then you wonder what are they doing? Why the thugs go there and stop what was happening? So it's really, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but we are hopeful. We are really hopeful, but the signs are really there that there could be violence. No doubt about that.
Okay, Prof. Having said that, Prof, let's also look at it. You were in Edo State 4 years ago, year 2020.
Yes, we were, yes.
Now, I'd like you to compare the election in 2020 and the current election that is built to hold tomorrow. How would you describe INEC's preparedness? With the level of the preparedness, with the distribution of sensitive materials, with the ad hoc staff that have been trained, vis-a-vis all the logistical issues that...
The distribution had both sensitive and non-sensitive materials that they actually got there. We're going to check them out this morning by 10 o'clock. In terms of the intensity of the campaigns, this one was more going to be a tough one, really tough one. And we just hope that violence does not break out, but it is likely it will break out. It is likely. We hope it doesn't, because it's not a two-horse race, it's a three-horse race. And both parties have spared no effort in terms of spending. They spent a lot, both buying of votes, distributing of money, gift items. They are really serious about the security architecture. And to be quite frank with you, the police are not making things any easy. The place in Benin is flooded with policemen all over the place, but I doubt whether the police are also be found in the rural areas, because that is where things happen. And this town, this state has been known to prone to violence, little of attacks on the Fulanis, the headsmen, but we have a lot of cult activities. This state is known for activities of the cult. So all the mix for, like in the previous violence, I also look for, I just hope that they will get to their destinations on time, and that I'm still doubtful whether we can start on time and end on time. But these are just sheer speculation.
And if a governor had been on seat for 8 years, I was still talking about bad roads at the end of his 8th year in office, would you have said that that governor has performed and had the effrontery to bring forward the candidates, before the people of Edo State?
Well, politics here, there's hardly any truth in it. You compare with what he saw on ground. What did he see on ground in some parts? So, in fairness to him, some parts, there have been some work in some parts. But overall, the roads are really in bad shape. If one must be honest, some parts, they have done some work, but generally, you wouldn't blame him, even if you go to my own state. Most of the states have problem of these routes. So you wouldn't blame him. Here they have plenty of problems about rains. But even then, do anything. He did something.
Okay.
They're always making noise. They did this and this. But when you go on the ground, you find few things. People are hungry as ever. Things are very, very expensive. I'm even thinking it's even cheaper to live in Abuja than to live in this state.
Wow, that's
very,
serious.
very expensive. You can't imagine we are buying oranges at 500 naira. 5 oranges, so not to talk about the bananas. Little things you wouldn't expect would be expensive. So it's really, I pity the people. And I wonder why each time it's time for election. That's why they can be easily bought now. It seems as if we have weaponized poverty. People are really poor, very, very hungry, looking for every opportunity to somebody. So I think it is terrible. It's terrible.
Okay.
I can't see any alleviation so far. From the people. Yes.
Prof, having talked about the issue of manipulation, violence, inducement. You've also mentioned inducement. Can you tell us, being on ground, usually when elections are very close, a day or 2 days to election, you see voters' inducement more clearly. Can you share with us what you have seen clearly on the ground?
It is clear. It's not hidden. They're hiding it. They're not hiding it. In fact, when we went to the PDP last time, we do pre-election, and then we are on ground. Rappers and all the rest of it. That's what they've been distributing now. They've been hiding it. It's not being hidden. Hiding. It's plain for anybody to see. Plain.
Okay.
And people are very hungry. Yes.
Okay. So again, Yega Africa has also looked at, had predicted that there will be low turnout in tomorrow's election. Now, what are the factors responsible for that prediction coming from Yaga Africa?
One, although we noticed there was increase in the collection of PVCs, but that we should coming out and then trying to express themselves. What will cause this low turnout? One, the economy. You know, fuel now is about 1,200, 1,100. So, and normally people don't register in the urban areas. They register in their villages. With the cost of transportation now, some actually may not go to their villages. So that will reduce. Then, this question of threat of violence. If you imagine a situation where the governor himself is crying that the police are not fair and they are arresting some of her members and that they themselves are not sure. They didn't even sign the peace accord because of this complaint. And up to yesterday, the governor was still complaining that the police are not fair, although he's in one breath, he will thank them, in another breath, he will say that some people have been arrested and all the rest of them. So this is the toxicity now. So for an average person, when you see the governor crying about prospects of violence, crying about lack of confidence in the security agencies, any normal person nobody will blame you if you decide to save yourself, to be quite frank. Yes.
All right, Prof, as we still continue this conversation, I want us to also take a look at the gladiators in this election. Of course, there are three, just like you said, 3 horses race this time around, as against the 2 horses race we used to have. Unfortunately or fortunately, 2 of those candidates have godfathers strongly behind them. For the PDP, you have the governor of the state, Governor Godwin Obaseki. And for the APC, you have the likes of former Governor Adams Shomole backing him. You also have the likes of Shuaib, who should have contested in the PDP, also teaming up with him. And there were reports yesterday that 9 other political parties have also matched with the APC. And you also look at the traditionals too, also stylishly giving support to the APC candidate. Now, looking at the gladiators that have made themselves relevant and prominent in this election, would you say that there are possibilities that people would really get their voice in this election?
Well. Luckily for me, I know the one of them personally. It was actually my best man in my wedding. That is the PDP. He is solid. That's where Igudalo is solid. In terms of competence, in terms of experience, he is solid. He has all it takes. But the problem is, and then he has the incumbency on his side. But you see, the other people are not pushovers. Akpata is also solid. He ran as NBA chairman. He wasn't a senior advocate. He was able to galvanize the youth to come out and vote against him. Wealthy, he's wealthy. He had matched, if you see his programs, you can come around the city, see his posters. He also is a son of the soil of Benin. And people are usually very, very sympathetic to their own son. So he's a son of the soil. And he has the non-indigenous solidly behind this OB factor. And he has exploited it to the maximum. So he is solid. They ordinarily should not even be talking.
Why? Yes. Why, Prof? Why should ABC not talk?
Look, he's dancing his teeth now. They shouldn't. But in Nigeria now, they say monkey picking no fine, mama like him. People want to link up with the federal government, and there are rumors that the federal government had made a promise that is going to hand over the states to APC, and they want Edo by all means. And last time is like a repeat match, because last time they were telling Tinubu Edo is not like Lagos. So that fight is what we are going to do again. APC is going to slug it out, and with the federal might and the apparent partial, it's going to be a tough fight. But I can tell you that it's going going to be a tough fight. Anybody can win this election. APC can win, PDP can win, Labour can also win. So I think none of them. That is why he's talking.
Prof. Now, during or in your report, in the report from Yaga Africa, 8 local governments were identified of violence. Now, and you have also given recommendations to security agencies. Now, are you seeing security agencies taking this very importantly and working to ensure that violence does not erupt in these areas tomorrow during the election?
Yeah, I'm really, they never learn. In our meeting yesterday, despite the fact we went to the place, we told them we are going to be, we have stationary observers, we have roving observers, so we have information. You see, but they find difficulty in coming out openly to cooperate with you. During our press review yesterday, they didn't show up. They didn't show up. It seems they have made up their minds on what they are going to do. But let's hope. The commissioner of police, I met him, he's a gentleman, and he promised he was going to be very fair to everybody. And he knows the suspicion people have. So it's when we go to the field tomorrow, we see whether they will live up to their promise. But I can tell you that more often than not, they don't listen to anybody. They seem to have a mind of their own and determine what they want to do. Because I do not think, in the last 4 years, so this is not new. This is not new. It's not new. If anything happens, they should have themselves to blame because they wouldn't say that they were not told. They are aware. Fully aware of the hotspots they are.
Okay, Prof. Now, what improvement over the last general election would you say that you are expecting in this DOE election? What improvement would you say you're expecting?
Well, my dear, I'm sorry to disappoint you. There is no improvement. I can't see any improvement. When we went to go and collect materials, I was even wondering why you should gather top officials. They were all there.
They're protecting.
They must gather in one place. Why must they gather in one place?
How can we improve it, Prof?
If you decentralize, how can't we make, with this age of technology, how can't you, all this paperwork that is involved, must it be there? I'm not very good in ICT, but I know that this local government with the digitalization, all these essential and non-essential materials, what is peculiar about them that they cannot be printed at the various local governments? Lots of people at the beginning for them to come for this sensitive and non-sensitive. Couldn't they have been distributed before now?
Prof,
shouldn't we just concentrate on improving the roads?
Prof, if you're talking about
network, so that these things can move easily from one local government to another. If at the capital we are complaining of poor road network, what is it are you going to investigate in the villages?
Prof, are we matured enough for digitalization at this juncture in Nigeria?
What is this maturity you are talking about?
Maturity?
What is just trust deficit? That's the only problem.
Prof,
we just don't trust ourselves. That's all. We spend so much money. Do you know how much this election is costing? If I tell you how much it's costing, the rigs from almost all over Nigeria are here. They flew with us from Abuja, flew from different places. So if you imagine the cost, then imagine, do you know the effort is involved flying some election materials? Do you know the cost, the risk in flying these things that could easily be printed? So as far as I'm concerned, we should try and reduce it. Election had almost become like an industry. We can reduce a lot of wastages. People from Abuja come in and all the rest of, why must they come? Why can't we trust ourselves to announce election results? Why must we move people from all over the place? Why? It's just we don't trust ourselves, and we are paying so much for it.
Okay, Prof. Let's quickly look at this. Involvement of electorates. Now, how well do you think that the electorate have been engaged for this election coming up tomorrow in Edo State?
They have always been engaged. It's not that they are very greedy. Who says they have not been engaged? Having where not to go. So it's the greed. It's the again. It's just greed. It's greed. And then partisanship. So they know. It's just that how do you stop a poor person from collecting money when he knows that these politicians, you won't see them again until 4 years now.
Okay,
that's the problem. So they might as well collect what they want to collect. And why are we always shouting about the poor, about vote buying? What do they benefit? What is this dividend of democracy? As the price of things are going up and up and up. So what do you expect really from them? It is like bazaar for them. It's a time for them to get the little they can for the time being until the next 4 years. So I really on my own. I don't blame them. To be quite frank with you.
Prof, can we ever get over vote buying and selling in Nigeria? You know what the law says? You and I are going to see EFCC on the field tomorrow. Now, if vote buying and selling still continues, and they are there, what would you say they are there to do? I mean, is this not just a waste of time and resources, having them out there, and they're not arresting and prosecuting persons that are involved in vote buying and selling?
If I tell me they are just lies, the real corruption. The real corruption is in the primaries, where the elite are involved in changing of money and the rest of them. Let me tell you, even have offices. We visited some of them in some, almost their bedrooms, we visited them. The PRP, the NP, weaponized poverty. We have weaponized poverty. So it's a big investment. Big. The parties are spent, imagine. Yesterday, Aswe was giving excuse for not appearing for debate. Can you imagine out of 3 people, gladiators, only 1 person came for the debate. The other 2 did it. Because they know it didn't mean anything for them. That the issue is not question of explaining their policies. So the EFCC, ICPC is the real issue. Our issue is not about vote buying. How much is spent in this vote buying that they should disturb us? They should go to NNPC.